Hey, welcome back to the Ping Pong Flick Show. My name is Chris Wong. Here's a new update for Shazam. Yeah, the movie is coming out, and for better or worse, there's been a lot of positive reactions, if they're true. A lot of different people seen it. Sam at Team JVS saw it. He loved it. So I am really excited to see it with a whole bunch of other people at the Fandango screening this coming Saturday. I am pumped for it, but looks like they're super confident in it because it's been not really announced, but when talking about sequel plans for Zachary Levi to return as Shazam, Peter Safran, the producer, said absolutely. David F. Sandberg also said, "Let's do it." You heard it here. Peter Safran and Sandberg are ready, and including the cast is ready to come back for a sequel. They're really, really on board. And I think the focus here, as they've said it before, is to really let the heroes be the titular characters be the center of the movie. They want to take time enough to introduce these characters in the right way, tell the stories the audience wants to see with these characters, and then not worry about the universal connection with any other person, any other character in the other superhero in the same universe, but like Wonder Woman or Aquaman, nothing like that. So that's their focus, but they are extremely confident, and they already said they're ready to do a sequel. Now, the numbers, the box office predictions have jumped up to 50+ million. It's probably going to keep jumping up as we get closer and closer to the release of this movie, and I can't wait to see it. Like I said, this Saturday I'll get to see it for myself, and if they are letting, I think which they are, embargo will be lifted, I'll be giving my review. I'll give you my thoughts on it, whatever reactions they're allowing us to do after we watch that screening. I can't wait to tell you about it. I just can't wait to watch it in general. You know what I mean? I've never been to an AMC theater. When I looked at the seats, there's like 3. It's huge. It's like twice the size of the ones we have here in Hawaii. So that caught me off guard because I didn't know where to seat myself. I want that perfect seating where the sound and the view, So I'm really looking forward to that. Shazam looks like they're really confident. Like I said, they're gonna get a sequel. Awesome stuff that's going on. Now, a little update on The Flash. We haven't had any news updated about Ezra Miller actually writing for The Flash yet. Remember, I've talked about, and it's been reported, that he is going to be writing, him and Grant Morrison are going to write the script for The Flash, their own take, because they're not happy with Jonathan Goldstein and John Francis Daly's lighter take on the film. So because they're the directors, and they're supposed to be writing it as well. But this is interesting. This could mean really nothing, but some scoopers and some people have said this could be something, is that Universal Pictures has picked up The Creeps, a horror film based on a pitch from Horrible Bosses and Spider-Man Homecoming screenwriters Jonathan Goldstein and John Francis Daly. So these are the directors tapped to make Flash, and The Flash is supposed to go into production this November. Yet they've picked up this with a possibility that they might not do Flash. Now this is all rumor based now, so I wouldn't jump on it yet, but it does pose an interesting conversation. Now, it's not every day. Directors take a lot of different film projects. That's true. That's definitely true. But something this close to starting production, The Flash, in November, and the news that Ezra Miller and Grant Morrison are kind of butting heads with these directors in terms of the creativity, and the fact that it seems like Warner Brothers is kind of backing Ezra Miller in a way that they don't want to try to go out and find a new Flash. They want to keep him as Flash. That is interesting. And I want to say that actually plays to the side of Ezra Miller. So if this news is true, which it is, Universal has picked up the creeps, and Jonathan Goldstein, John Francis Daly, maybe their minds have kind of been like, well, if that's not going to work, if the Flash is not going to work out, and they're really pushing us to do this version, we're going to go and do this movie, which seems like Universal Pictures is going to let us do. Which says something about Warner Brothers not letting the directors make their movie, yet this also says that it's possible they looked at Ezra Miller's and Grant Morrison's script and said, that's a better take. Who knows? Maybe that's a stronger take than what they did. And maybe these directors don't want to work on that script. And so they rather work on this or focus their attention on this while maybe still doing The Flash later on. But we'll see how this turns out. This is an interesting news. Some people actually caught that and said, hey, what does that mean for the Flash? And I thought that was an interesting discussion to bring up with this news. Now, honestly, I think they would have done a really good job, and they could still do a good job on the Flash with whatever script they get in hand. But this is interesting, and I hope this doesn't mean delays for the Flash. At the same time, I want to make sure this Flash movie that comes out is fantastic, and I hope it's like it has those emotional stakes that comes with Flash, and also has a little bit of a grander scale to it that I would love to see in a Flash movie, something that the Flash TV series tries to tap into, but nothing to the blockbuster Hollywood scale that I want to see Flash doing. I don't necessarily mean Flashpoint, but I do mean multiverse. I want to see that. I want to really see that on the big screen, if you know what I mean. So really looking forward to what comes after. It was supposed to be this week, and there's a few more days left. Tomorrow there could be some giant news or delays or whatever, but until then, that's what's happening with that. Now, probably the biggest news for the entire DCEU and Warner Brothers is that, and everybody talked about this already, Warner Media setting after Kevin Tsujihara, who was the chief executive officer for Warner Brothers Entertainment, stepped down. And that's amidst all that sex scandal and stuff. Now, people say that's like, well, really, that's all that is? I think it's the discussion of how he came about that and his name that's being tarnished right now that wouldn't be good for the Warner Brothers Studios or Warner Brothers Entertainment altogether. Because if he was actually pushing an actress to get roles, that kind of undermines a little, it just kind of makes it look bad. Like, it's not about the talent, it's just that it becomes a sexual favor in order to get that woman those acting roles. Now, they both deny it, but it already looks bad. Also, I kind of didn't quite care for him to begin with, because of after that news that we heard about Justice League, where he didn't want to delay it, even though Joss Whedon maybe could have fixed it if he got another year or did a reshoot or do shoots and stuff like that for like more years onto it. But instead of delaying it, Kevin Tsujihara pushed it out because he really wanted that bonus checked. He put himself before the studio. And so that in itself is pretty bad. That in itself is a selfish way to be a leader of a studio. Also, the fact that he really wanted to trim it down to 2 hours. He's not thinking about directors. He's not thinking about them. And so that calls it into a much needed question about the way he puts things out, or the way he's supposed to be this leader of a studio, and director driven and all these different aspects. Well, it sounds like he really needed to go. It sounds like he shouldn't be the head of the studio. This is coming from Eric Vespi, who is formerly Quint of Ain't It Cool News. He put something out that was a rather interesting, if I can get back to it. But it's in regards to Kevin Tsujihara as being part of Warner Brothers. He said this: Kevin Tsujihara being out at Warner Brothers is great news. Beyond the grossness of the scandal that got him out, filmmakers and employees have hated him for years. I've been told numerous times he had zero understanding of storytelling, the very definition of a soulless bottom line exec. So what that means is that he didn't really care too much about the artistic, creative integrity of these films. He didn't care for storytelling. He was all about the numbers. I know many execs, even in my own industry, where they're all about the numbers, about pipelines. They didn't care how you went about it. They didn't care what happened. They only cared about the money part of it. And that is okay for a lot of different companies where it's money driven, but you have to have that artistic nature of it because of the people you employ. These directors, filmmakers, they want to be able to tell their own story. And so I don't think he was right for it. He came from an accounting background as well. So I think as being that way, I don't think that's a great leader. He needs to be able to understand the money part. He needs to be able to understand the creative part. He also needs to be, like lately, he has to understand the digital part. So he has to have all the aspects and not just one aspect, and that's just the money part. And if the story from the rap is true, that he really was only looking out for himself, that's not a good leader at all. And so get the hell out of my house. This is what Ezra Reviews would say, and I really agree with that. So I am glad, I am pretty happy that he is out. It needed new leadership anyway in order to set it to a new direction, a better direction. And there's a lot of people being in look. Right now the interim is probably going to be Toby Emmerich and team, who's from New Line Cinema, but he needs to be someone that looks over the entire Warner Brothers Entertainment games, the new streaming that's coming out, everything. But it is Variety has been talking about it for days, and it kind of looks like they're gonna split it from TV and movies, which I think is good, because that means the person can focus on films, focus on movies, focus on streaming and things like that. And one of those persons is her name is Stacey Snider, not Snyder SNNY, but SNIDER. But she is the chairman. She was a chairman ex-chairman for Fox. Now we know Fox and Disney is now completely merged. So she's open. She has there is an opening for a job, and she's rightfully there. Now it seems like the studio want to look at more of getting a female up in the executive position, because it's all white males right now. I could totally understand them trying to diversify in a way. But when you hear about her and you go back and hear her videos of her interviews and stuff, and the movies, and the movies she backed, including like Logan, things like that, those are great. That's great news. That means she really wants to show that creative side. She wants to back that creative side. It's the type of person who understands the art as well as the business, and hopefully she can cue in the streaming digital part of it. And I think she'd do a way better job, I think, than Kevin Tsujihara. But hopefully she does a good job. Whoever John Stankey picks to be the head of Warner Brothers Entertainment, I hope it's a good decision, and I hope they're really going to help and back the directors, make it a director-driven studio like they've always talked about, and hopefully they do that. Hopefully they really cue into that as well. So I'm good with her. I think she's a great decision. But whenever that's going to happen, it seems like it's going to be announced next Tuesday, I think. Now, I think they already made a decision. Um, they're just putting the paperwork and stuff. Maybe they're waiting for this Fox Disney thing to go down. But I really think they really made a decision in order to announce that they're gonna do some. They're gonna announce it by Tuesday. So looking forward to that. The future of everything. Warner Brothers. Includes Godzilla and all that. Even though I think that's pretty safe right now. But DCEU coming here on 4th is one of the number ones. Harry Potter and stuff like that. So it's in an interesting time for people who are invested in the DCEU, in Godzilla, in Harry Potter, in anything Warner Brothers, and in the upcoming Warner Media streaming services. This is a big thing, a huge thing, and can't wait to see what happens with that. But speaking about directors and creativity and all that, there is a little event that's coming this weekend, and it's Zack Snyder's Director's Cut event. Right now, it's seemingly like, and I'm in a chat with the people who are going to head down to Pasadena. There's about 25 of us so far, but I'm sure there's more. But it seemed like they've got some messages, emails, for the matter, that there are no photography and videography allowed there. So that is interesting. Seemingly that these movies have already been released. But I guess it's like any other movie theater. We can't show stuff. We can't record things while we're there, maybe. But looking forward to that email about what questions could we ask, right? So that's one of the big things. And today on Vero, Zack Snyder had actually posted a little Vero post of the event, and he's kind of asking us what questions we want to ask him in those Q&A panel discussions. Of course, there's going to be the biggest question out there would be the Snyder Cut, and it's possible that these are screen questions, and we can't really ask him there. We don't know for sure, and if that's the case, hopefully that's not the case, and we'll be able to freely talk to him and stuff like that. But if any case, there's a lot of questions here pertaining to the Snyder Cut already. I put a few in there. But I also put a few in the Batman v Superman. We don't know how many questions he's be able to ask or answer, for that matter. But it will be interesting how much he gets to talk, as well as he announced that he's bringing his friend Larry effing Fong is going to be there. That the cinematographer. Wow, that is incredible. I don't know what other friends are going to be there, but that's one of the big ones. And so I don't know how much questions we can ask. What type of questions can we ask in each different panels? What's going to happen there? It's just extremely exciting to be at this type of event, what we're calling like the Snyder Con, if you will, and I can't wait to participate. We're flying out Friday night. We'll get there Saturday morning. We're going to do a Warner Brothers tour and different stuff like that, hang out, and then Sunday it will be where we get I'll be at the Batman v Superman event. But until then, there's probably you'll start hearing stuff, I think, on Friday night, as people get to go to the Dawn of the Dead event. Hopefully get talks about Army of the Dead, maybe who's in Army of the Dead, and as well. But I know everyone's question on their mind, and there's been a lot of weird tinfoil stuff that's been happening these few days, and I know you want me to talk about it, but I'm refraining talking about what Zack Snyder likes on Vero and things like that. I'm totally refraining, because I know that some type of answer, maybe a political answer or not, will be assessed and issued at this Zack Snyder and Director's Cut event. So I want to hold off on anything like that until we get closer. But his likes are ramping up, but I don't know why. But and I think it's just to show support, but we'll see. We'll see what happens in a few days' time. This has been the longest week in since waiting for Man of Steel, waiting for Batman v Superman, waiting for Justice League. That feeling of being on edge, you know. It's tingling. I don't know, but anyway, this video is getting too long. That is it. I'm just really excited. And then as we get closer, maybe on Thursday, I'm gonna do a live Q&A with you guys. If there's no big news that comes out, I'm just gonna talk free with you guys, if you don't mind. And then we'll just talk about the upcoming event, who's going, if you're gonna be there or not. Let me know. I can't wait to see you guys. I don't consider you guys fans. I can consider you guys friends, just people who love the same things that I do, who want to see things that I want to see, and I think that's just it's just gonna be a cool get together. It's gonna be cool. All right, guys, well, that is it. Thank you so much for subscribing, and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.